The storm hits Westridge Regional just after 9. Rain hammers the tarmac. Emergency lights flicker across the small terminal. Inside Hangar 3, a $45 million private jet sits grounded. Engines dark. Catherine Hayes steps out of her black Mercedes, Armani suit, heels that click like a countdown. She built Apex Aviation from bankruptcy to the top 5. They call her the Ice Queen of the Sky. She walks into the hangar and stops cold. A man in oil-stained coveralls stands at her jet engine, greased hands, calloused fingers, touching her property. She doesn't ask his name, just 3 words that will haunt her for weeks. Who let you in? His name is Jack Morrison. 42 years old, local mechanic, the kind of man people barely notice. Every morning starts the same. 5 a.m., alarm. No snooze button. He makes breakfast for his daughter Lily, 12 years old. Smart kid. Loves airplanes more than anything. They live in a small house behind the garage. 2 bedrooms, 1 bathroom. Wooden floors that creak in winter. Most nights they eat dinner by the fireplace. He helps her with homework at the kitchen table. Math, science. She wants to be an engineer someday. His work is simple. Tractors, pickup trucks, sometimes a small Cessna from the local flying club. He fixes what breaks, doesn't ask questions, doesn't talk much about himself. People in Westridge know him as the quiet guy who keeps his head down, reliable, decent, nothing special. But they notice one thing. He always wears long sleeves, even in summer, gloves when he works, like he's hiding something on his skin. In the corner of his bedroom sits a wooden box, old, dust on the lid. He never opens it. Not anymore. Inside that box, an MIT engineering degree, patent certificates, awards with his name engraved in gold, and a wedding photo, colors fading to gray. A younger version of himself. A woman with bright eyes and a laugh that could light up a room. Her name was Rebecca. The photo was taken 9 years ago, back when he believed the future was something you could engineer, back when he thought he could control the sky. Now he just fixes engines, raises his daughter, keeps his past buried. Every night before bed, he traces his fingers over the tattoo on his forearm. Coordinates, a date. Lily asked about it once when she was 7. He never answered. Catherine Hayes, 39 years old, CEO of Apex Aviation Technologies, the woman who turned a bankrupt company into a top 5 private aviation powerhouse in 8 years. She started as an aerospace engineer, worked her way up through a field dominated by men who thought she belonged behind a desk, not in a boardroom. She proved them all wrong, 1 contract at a time. 1 impossible deadline at a time. They call her the woman with no heart, only a brain, cold, precise. She demands perfection, because anything less gets people killed at 35,000 feet. Her office is all glass, floor-to-ceiling windows. No personal photos, no family portraits, just technical diagrams and performance charts. Her desk stays clean, her calendar stays full. She works until 2 or 3 in the morning most nights. Sleeps 4 hours, never takes weekends off, never takes vacations. The company is her life, the only thing she trusts. No close friends, no family left. Her mother died 6 years ago. Catherine was in Singapore closing a deal. Didn't make it home in time to say goodbye. Sometimes, late at night, she stands at her office window, watches the park across the street. Families walking, kids playing, couples holding hands. She tells herself she doesn't miss what she never had time for. In her desk drawer sits a birthday card. Unsigned, unsent, written to her mother 3 weeks before she died. The words still there. I'm sorry I chose work over you. She never mailed it. Never will. Tonight at Westridge, standing in the rain, watching a greased-up mechanic touch her $45 million engine, something cracks inside her. Not anger. Something worse. Doubt. 2 hours earlier, everything was on schedule. The client is a Qatari billionaire. $300 million contract. Private fleet deal. The kind of money that makes or breaks a company like Apex. Catherine spent 6 months negotiating. Tonight's flight is the final test. Impress him, close the deal, secure the future. Then, the engine light flashes red. Her engineering team runs diagnostics. Once, twice, 3 times. The PW1000G engine shows a software error. Complex. Deep in the fuel injection system. They can't find the source. 2 hours until takeoff. If she cancels, she loses the contract, loses credibility. Probably loses her position as CEO. The board has been waiting for her to fail. The storm makes it worse. Her senior engineers are stuck in Seattle. Can't get a flight out. The local airport mechanic already left for the night. Catherine drives to the only garage still open in Westridge, looking for temporary tools, backup equipment, anything to buy time. That's when she sees the light on in the small hangar next door. Walks over, finds Jack Morrison standing beside a Cessna he just finished repairing. She explains the situation. Professional, direct, needs a portable diagnostic scanner, maybe a laptop with the right software. Jack listens, doesn't say much. Then he picks up his toolbox and walks toward her Mercedes. "I'll take a look," he says. Catherine doesn't argue. She's desperate. Drives him to Hangar 3 in silence. Rain pounds the windshield. She grips the steering wheel like it's the only thing keeping her together. They reach the jet. Her team is still running tests. Frustrated, exhausted. Catherine leads Jack to the engine. He sets down his toolbox, rolls up his sleeves just enough to work, steps up to the engine panel. One of her engineers notices, starts to protest. Catherine waves him off. They're out of options. Jack opens the panel, studies the engine for maybe 30 seconds, doesn't touch anything yet, just looks. Then he pulls out an old laptop from his toolbox, connects a cable to the diagnostic port. Catherine's chief engineer frowns. "That port requires clearance codes. It's proprietary." Jack's fingers move across the keyboard. No hesitation. The system unlocks. No password needed. Her engineer steps forward. "Sir, you can't just—" "It's a fuel injection timing conflict," Jack says. Calm, matter of fact. "Your diagnostic missed it because it's reading the symptom, not the cause." Catherine moves closer. "That's proprietary technology. Unless you have clearance." He doesn't look up. "I don't need clearance. I designed it." The hangar goes quiet. Just rain hammering the roof. Jack types a short code sequence, resets the software, reaches into the engine with surgical precision, removes 3 components, adjusts something Catherine's team can't even see, reinstalls everything. 11 minutes later, the engine fires up. Perfect. Smooth. No errors. He closes the panel, wipes his hands on a rag, walks toward the exit without a word. Catherine stands frozen, rain soaking through her Armani jacket. Her chief engineer leans close. "Ma'am, no one outside our team should know that system." She doesn't answer. She's staring at Jack's back, at the way he moves, like someone who's done this 1,000 times before. Catherine follows him outside, rain still falling. He's halfway to his truck when she calls out, "Wait." He stops, doesn't turn around. She catches up, water dripping from her hair. Armani suit ruined. She doesn't care. "I need an explanation." "Your jet works," Jack says. "You should go." "That's not what I asked." He finally turns, looks at her, not defiant, not intimidated, just tired. "You want to know how I know your system?" he says. "The answer doesn't matter. What matters is 247 people can fly tonight." Catherine steps closer. "I don't allow strangers to touch my property. If I hadn't touched it, those 247 people wouldn't take off tonight. You violated security protocols, proprietary technology, trade secrets. I could have you." "You could," he says, "but you won't." The certainty in his voice throws her off. She's used to people backing down, apologizing, explaining themselves. He does none of that. You don't know who I am, she says. I know exactly who you are. He picks up his toolbox. You're the CEO who built an empire on precision, on control, on never letting anyone see a crack in the armor. She feels something shift, like he's seeing through the Armani and the title and the glass office. You don't know anything about me. I know you work for results, Jack says, not people. I know you measure success in contracts, not lives. I know you'd fire someone for being 5 minutes late, but you'd miss your own mother's funeral for a board meeting. The last line hits like a punch. Because he's right, she did miss it. Singapore. The deal that made her untouchable. He starts walking again. You do this because you want to fly high, he says over his shoulder. I do this because I want people to fly safe. Those two things aren't always the same. She stands there, rain soaking through everything, watches him drive away. But she notices something. When he rolled up his sleeves to work, the edge of a tattoo on his forearm, dark ink, numbers, coordinates. Before she could look closer, he pulled the sleeve down. And she knows. This man is hiding something far bigger than a repair manual. The jet takes off on time. Perfect. Smooth. No errors. The Qatari billionaire signs the contract mid-flight. $300 million. Done. The deal that secures Apex's future for the next 5 years. Press releases go out by morning. Apex Aviation saves century contract with technical excellence. Catherine's phone floods with congratulations. Board members, industry leaders, competitors pretending to be impressed. She accepts every compliment, gives credit to her engineering team, smiles for the cameras. But that night in her office, she can't sleep. She pulls up the security footage from Hangar 3, watches Jack work, frame by frame, 11 minutes, every movement precise, confident, like a dancer who knows the choreography by heart. No manual, no blueprint, no hesitation. He knew every bolt, every wire, every line of code. She calls her head of HR at 2 a.m. Find everything on Jack Morrison. 3 days later, the file arrives. Jack Morrison, 42, Westridge resident for 5 years, local mechanic, clean record, no red flags. Before that? Nothing. Like he appeared out of nowhere. Catherine calls her security team. Dig deeper. Another week. More files, police records, DMV, credit history, tax returns. And then the report that makes her read twice. Jack Morrison, former lead engineer, PW1000 program, MIT graduate, 23 patents, industry awards, the man they called a genius. The same man who disappeared 5 years ago, after his wife died in a crash, caused by the engine he designed. Catherine drives to his garage the next evening. No appointment, no warning. The file folder sits on her passenger seat. She finds him in the small house behind the shop. Through the window, she sees him at the kitchen table, helping his daughter with homework. The girl laughs at something he says. He smiles. The kind of smile that doesn't reach the rest of his life. Catherine knocks. Jack opens the door. Sees her. His expression doesn't change, like he knew this was coming. Miss Hayes, we need to talk. We need to talk. He glances back at Lily. The girl looks up, curious, smart eyes. Go finish your math, he tells her. I'll check it in a minute. He steps outside, closes the door. They stand on the small porch, single light bulb overhead, moths circling. Catherine holds up the folder. I know who you are. Then you also know I don't do that work anymore. Why not? You're brilliant. You could. I used to think that too. His voice goes flat. My wife died because I thought that. The words land heavy. Catherine opens the folder. Newspaper clippings, accident reports, investigation summaries. Alaska, March 24, 2020. Flight 732, engine failure, 89 dead. Jack's jaw tightens. I know the numbers. The investigation blamed software malfunction in the fuel system. Your system. They needed someone to blame. Your wife was on that flight. Rebecca Morrison, test engineer. She was my wife. He cuts her off. She trusted the engine I built, and it killed her. Huh. Catherine sees it now. The guilt. The weight. 5 years of carrying it alone. The press called you a murderer, she says quietly. You were investigated, cleared technically, but the industry blacklisted you. I didn't leave because of them. I left because every time I looked at an engine, I saw her face. Lily appears in the doorway. Dad, I finished the... She stops, sees the folder, the look on her father's face. It's okay, sweetheart, Jack says. Go back inside. Is she talking about Mom? Jack doesn't answer. Lily walks over, stands next to him. Protective. My mom died in a plane crash, Lily tells Catherine. Dad didn't cause it. He tried to stop it. Catherine looks at the girl. 12 years old, defending her father like a soldier. Jack puts his hand on Lily's shoulder. I'll be inside soon. Lily goes back in, reluctant. Catherine watches the door close. You sued for reinvestigation. They refused. Insufficient evidence to overturn the original findings. So you disappeared. I became someone else. Someone who could give his daughter a normal life. Catherine notices his sleeve rolled up. The tattoo visible now in the porch light. Coordinates. 61.2181 degrees north. 149.9003 west. A date. March 24, 2020. The crash site. The day Rebecca died. You wear it every day, Catherine says. So I never forget what matters. She closes the folder. For the first time in years, she doesn't know what to say. Catherine goes back to her office, opens the investigation file again, reads every page, every testimony, every technical analysis. Something doesn't add up. The official conclusion: software malfunction, pilot error, system failure. But Jack's lawsuit claimed tampering. He had evidence. Flight data that didn't match the official record. Sensor readings that showed manual override. Someone had accessed the engine remotely. The investigation board rejected it. Not enough proof. Case closed. Catherine pulls the original crash report, reads the names on the investigative committee, recognizes one, a consultant who now works for Apex's biggest competitor, Chinese firm, Dragonair Industries. She digs deeper, finds sealed depositions, witness statements that never made it to the final report, maintenance logs that went missing. Then she finds it. A confidential memo, buried in archived files. Someone paid to bury the evidence. Someone who wanted Jack Morrison's reputation destroyed, so they could steal his designs. She sits back, looks at the files spread across her desk. Jack didn't fail his wife. Someone murdered her, and made him take the blame. She picks up her phone, calls Jack's number. He answers on the third ring. I need to show you something, she says. Her hands shake. Jack arrives at her office an hour later. First time he's been in a building like this in 5 years. Glass walls, steel, everything cold and precise. Catherine spreads the files across her conference table, shows him everything. The buried memo, the missing logs, the consultant who disappeared to China. Jack reads in silence, his hands steady, but his jaw tightens with every page. They didn't just cover it up, Catherine says. They orchestrated it. Someone wanted your designs, wanted you out of the industry, so they made sure the crash would destroy you. Jack sets down the last page. Rebecca volunteered for that test flight. She believed in the engine. She believed in me. She was right to. She was right to. No. He looks up. She died because I was so focused on being brilliant, I didn't see the threat. I was too busy proving I could change the world. Catherine recognizes that tone. The self-blame. The kind that doesn't heal. She's carried it too. Different reasons. Same weight. I need to tell you something, she says. She sits across from him. No desk between them. Just two people in an empty conference room at midnight. My mother died 6 years ago. Cancer. I was in Singapore, closing a deal. She called me 3 times that week. I didn't answer. Too busy. Too important. Jack doesn't interrupt. She died alone in a hospital room. I got the call during a presentation. I finished the presentation, flew home the next day, made it to the funeral, gave a speech about how proud she'd be. Her voice cracks. Just slightly. But I didn't cry. Didn't break down. Didn't show weakness. Because that's what I learned. Success costs everything. And if you want to win, you pay the price. What was the deal? Jack asks quietly. A fleet contract. 12 jets. $20 million. She looks at him. I don't even remember the client's name now. The silence stretches. Outside, the city lights flicker. Inside, something shifts. I built this company on control. Catherine continues. On being smarter, faster, colder than anyone else. I told myself emotion was weakness, that caring too much would make me vulnerable. And now? Now I look at you. A man who walked away from everything, who chose his daughter over his career, who fixes engines in a small-town garage because it's honest work. She shakes her head. And I wonder if I've been winning the wrong race. Jack leans back. I didn't walk away because I'm noble. I walked away because I was broken. Still am. But you're still here. Still showing up for Lily every morning. Still fixing things because people need them fixed. That's not strength. That's survival. Maybe they're the same thing. Catherine stands. Walks to the window. The park across the street is empty. Swings moving slightly in the wind. She's watched that park for 8 years. Never gone down there once. I used to think power meant never needing anyone. She says. But you saved my contract. Saved my company. And you didn't do it for money or recognition. You did it because people's lives depended on that engine working. She turns back to him. I don't know how to do that. Care about something more than winning. Jack stands. Walks over. Stops a few feet away. You start small, he says. You go home before midnight. You call someone just to ask how they're doing. You let yourself be human for 5 minutes. I don't know if I remember how. Neither did I. Lily taught me. Every morning when she hugs me before school. Every time she tells me about her day. Every moment I choose her over the past. Catherine feels something crack. The wall she built. The armor that kept her untouchable. The investigation, she says. We can reopen it. I have connections, lawyers, resources. Why would you do that? Because you deserve the truth. Rebecca deserves the truth. Jack looks at her. Really looks. Like he's seeing past the CEO, past the glass office and the Armani suits. You don't owe me anything. I know. But maybe I owe it to myself. To stop measuring everything in contracts and start measuring it in what actually matters. They stand there. 2 people who built walls so high, they forgot what it felt like to be seen. Jack's phone buzzes. Text from Lily. Dad, don't forget we're making pancakes tomorrow morning. He smiles. Small. Real. I should go. She takes pancakes seriously. Catherine nods. Watches him head toward the elevator. At the door he stops. Turns back. Thank you. For believing me. Thank you for reminding me why this work matters. The elevator doors close. Catherine stands alone in her office. For the first time in 6 years, she doesn't go back to her desk. She picks up her phone, opens her mom's contact. The number's still there, can't call it anymore. But she types a message anyway, saves it in drafts. I'm sorry I chose work over you. I'm trying to be better. I wish you were here to see it. She closes her eyes, and for the first time in years, lets herself cry. 3 weeks later, the call comes. Department of Defense. They want to see the new PW2000 prototype. The engine Catherine's team has been developing, based on Jack's original design, improved, modernized. It's a $100 million contract. Military contract. The kind that defines a company's future. The demonstration is scheduled for Friday. Private showing, Pentagon officials, aviation inspectors. Everything needs to be perfect. Wednesday morning, the engine fails during pre-flight testing. Not a small glitch. Complete shutdown, mid-test. The kind of failure that kills contracts and reputations. Catherine's team swarms the hangar. Engineers, technicians, specialists flown in from 3 states. They run diagnostics for 18 hours straight. Nothing. They can't find the problem. Thursday night. Less than 24 hours until the demonstration. Catherine stands in the hangar, watching her team tear apart an engine they can't fix. Her chief engineer approaches. Exhausted, defeated. "Ma'am, we need to postpone. We can't guarantee." "We're not postponing." "Then we need a miracle." Catherine looks at the engine, sees Jack's design in every line, his genius in every component. She knows what she has to do. She drives to Westridge, pulls up to the small house behind the garage. 11 at night, lights still on. Knocks on the door. Jack answers, sees her face. Already knows. "The prototype," he says. "It's failing. My team can't fix it. The demonstration is tomorrow afternoon. I can't help you." "Coming businesses." "I know. I'm not here to order you. I'm here to ask." He doesn't move, just stands in the doorway. "I swore I'd never touch that engine again," he says. "After Rebecca, after everything, I swore." "I understand." "Do you? Do you understand what it's like to look at something you built and only see death?" Catherine meets his eyes. "No. But I understand what it's like to choose something over people who mattered. And I understand that you're the only person who can make this right." Behind Jack, Lily appears, still awake. Homework spread on the kitchen table. She walks over, looks at Catherine, then at her dad. "Is this about the airplane?" she asks. Jack nods. Lily turns to Catherine. "If my dad helps, will people be safer?" "Yes." "Then he should help." She looks up at Jack. "Mom always said you were a hero, not because you built engines, because you cared about the people who flew in them." Jack's face tightens, fighting something inside. "If you stop caring," Lily continues, "then she was wrong, and I don't want her to be wrong." The words hang there. Truth from a 12-year-old who understands more than she should. Jack looks at Catherine. "I have conditions." "Name them." "I don't work at your facility. We work in my hangar. You don't just watch. You work. With your hands. You need to understand the engine, not own it. Understand it." "Agreed." "And this isn't for your company. This is for the people who'll trust their lives to it." Catherine nods. "I wouldn't ask for any other reason." Jack grabs his jacket, kisses Lily on the forehead. "Don't stay up too late." "Fix it good, Dad." They drive to his hangar in silence, rain starting again. Catherine watches him stare out the window. "Thank you," she says. "Don't thank me yet." "Ah." They work through the night. Jack's hangar, small, cold, fluorescent lights humming overhead. The PW-2000 prototype sits on a steel frame. Complex, beautiful, dangerous. Jack hands Catherine a set of coveralls. Gray, oil-stained, nothing like her Armani suits. She puts them on without hesitation. He starts with the basics. Shows her how to read the engine, not the data, the engine itself, the sounds, the vibrations, the way metal expands under heat. "Your team looks at numbers," he says. "Numbers lie. The engine tells the truth if you know how to listen." Catherine watches his hands. Precise, gentle, like he's touching something alive. They disassemble the fuel injection system. Component by component, Jack explains each piece. What it does, why it matters, how it fails. Catherine asks questions. Real questions. Not to challenge. To understand. Hours pass. They find the problem. A valve. Microscopic fracture. Invisible to standard diagnostics. The kind of flaw that only shows up under extreme stress. "How did you see that?" Catherine asks. "Because I made the same mistake once." Jack's voice goes quiet. On the original PW1000, I caught it before production, but someone overrode my fix. Said it was too expensive to redesign. The crash. He nods. I tried to stop it. They wouldn't listen. Rebecca knew something was wrong. She went on that test flight because she thought she could prove it, document it, force a recall. She was trying to save people. She was trying to save me from myself, from my own design. They work in silence for a while, removing the flawed valve, installing a replacement, testing, adjusting, testing again. Around 3 a.m, Lily appears, wrapped in a blanket, carrying 2 mugs of hot chocolate. "You guys are loud," she says, but she's smiling. She hands them the mugs, looks at Catherine in the coveralls, grease on her hands, hair pulled back. "You look different," Lily says. "I feel different." Good different? Catherine thinks about it. Yeah, good different. Lily sits on a workbench, watches them work, asks questions about the engine. Jack explains in simple terms. Catherine adds details. They sound like teachers, like partners. "My dad never talks about his work," Lily says to Catherine. "Not the old work. He thinks I don't know, but I know he was important. I know he built things that mattered." Jack stops working, looks at his daughter. "You never told me you knew. You never told me you wanted to talk about it." Lily shrugs. "I figured you'd tell me when you were ready. I thought I was protecting you." "You were protecting yourself, Dad. Which is okay, but you don't have to anymore." The wisdom in her voice. 12 years old enough to understand loss, young enough to still believe in healing. She finishes her hot chocolate, heads back to the house. "Don't work too late," she calls over her shoulder. "We still have pancakes tomorrow." After she's gone, Jack sits down on a crate. Exhausted, emotional. "She's incredible," Catherine says. "She's the only reason I'm still here. She's why you came back. Not for me, not for the contract. For her." Jack nods. "I wanted her to see that hiding isn't the same as healing, that you can face the things that broke you." Catherine sits next to him, 2 people covered in grease, surrounded by engine parts. "When I was building this company," she says, "I used to dream about flying. Not as a passenger, as a pilot. I wanted to be the one in control, the one who decided where we went." "Why didn't you?" "Because pilots have to trust their co-pilots, trust their crew, trust the machine, and I didn't know how to trust anyone. Do you now?" She looks at him. "I'm learning." They go back to work, side by side. No hierarchy, no titles, just 2 people trying to build something that won't fail. By dawn, the engine is ready. They run the final test. Startup sequence, fuel injection, thrust output. Perfect. Every reading, every system. Jack shuts it down, wipes his hands. "It'll fly." Catherine looks at the engine, then at him. "Thank you for coming back, even when it hurt. Thank you for asking, not demanding." They stand there, morning light coming through the hangar doors. Rain stopped, sky clearing. 2 people who built walls around their hearts, finding cracks in the foundation, letting light through. Jack's phone rings. Unknown number. He answers, listens. His face changes, goes pale. He hangs up. "That was Pentagon security," he says. "Someone just tried to access our server, tried to download the PW2000 specs." Catherine's stomach drops. "When?" 20 minutes ago. They traced it to an IP address in Shanghai. They look at each other. This isn't over. Pentagon security locks down the demonstration. Federal agents arrive within the hour. They sweep the facility, check every computer, every access point. Catherine's security chief delivers the report at noon. The hack originated from inside Apex. An engineer, senior level, access to everything. His name is David Werner, 15 years with the company. Catherine promoted him herself 3 years ago. The FBI arrests him at 1 in the afternoon. His laptop contains encrypted files, communications with Dragonair Industries, payment records, $300,000 over 2 years. He wasn't just stealing designs. He was the one who sabotaged the original investigation. The consultant, Catherine, found in the files. Werner worked with him, covered the evidence, made sure Jack took the blame. They wanted Jack destroyed so they could steal his work without interference. Rebecca died because of corporate espionage. Catherine sits in the interrogation observation room, watches Werner through the glass. The man she trusted, the man she promoted, the man who murdered by proxy. Jack stands beside her. Silent. Processing. "I'm sorry," Catherine says. "I brought him into your life, into this company. You didn't know." "I should have known. I built this company on control, on knowing everything, and I missed a traitor sitting 20 feet from my office." Jack turns to her. "You built a company on results, on winning. That's what you knew. That's what you measured. You can't see betrayal if you're not looking for humanity." The words cut. True. Precise. The FBI takes Werner away. The evidence is overwhelming. He'll spend decades in prison. But it doesn't bring Rebecca back. The demonstration is rescheduled for 4 that afternoon. Pentagon officials arrive. Inspectors, defense contractors, everyone watching. The PW-2000 sits on the test stand. Jack's design, Catherine's company, their collaboration. Catherine gives the presentation. Technical specs, performance data, safety features. She's done this hundreds of times. But this time, Jack stands beside her. Not hiding, not anonymous. She introduces him. "This is Jack Morrison, lead engineer, the man who designed the engine you're about to see." The room goes quiet. Some people recognize the name, the scandal, the crash, the disappeared genius. Jack steps forward. First time he's spoken publicly in 5 years. 5 years ago, my wife died in a crash. The investigation blamed my design. I accepted that blame because I thought I deserved it. I walked away from this industry because I couldn't face what I'd built. He looks at the engine. But I was wrong. The design wasn't flawed. It was sabotaged by people who wanted to profit from cutting corners, from prioritizing speed over safety, from treating human lives as acceptable losses. His voice strengthens. This engine, the PW-2000, it's built on the principle that every life matters, every passenger, every crew member, every person who trusts us to get them home safely. He turns to the officials. "I came back not for contracts or recognition. I came back because my daughter reminded me that hiding from your mistakes isn't the same as learning from them, and because someone showed me that it's never too late to build something that matters." He looks at Catherine. She feels her throat tighten. But she doesn't look away. The test begins. Startup sequence, fuel injection, thrust measurement, every system monitored, every reading recorded. The engine runs perfectly, smooth, powerful, safe. The Pentagon officials exchange looks, take notes, ask technical questions. Jack answers each one. Detailed, confident, the genius they remember. But different now. Humble, human. After an hour, the lead inspector shakes his hand. "Mr. Morrison, we'll be recommending approval, pending final paperwork." Jack nods. "Thank you." The officials leave. The hangar empties. Catherine and Jack stand alone beside the engine, the sound of it cooling, metal contracting, settling. "You did it," Catherine says. "We did it." She turns to him. "I need to tell you something. I'm changing how this company works. No more promotions based only on results. No more 80-hour weeks as a badge of honor. No more measuring people by what they produce, instead of who they are. That's a big change. It's the right change. You taught me that. Lily taught me that. Rebecca taught me that." Jack's expression softens at his wife's name. "She would have liked you," he says. "She always believed the best engineers were the ones who cared about more than the engineering. I wish I could have met her." "Me too." They stand in comfortable silence. Two people who started as opposites, CEO and mechanic, power and humility, ambition and loss. Now something else. Partners, friends, two people learning to heal. What happens now? Catherine asks. I don't know. I haven't planned past today in 5 years. Would you consider coming back? Not full-time, not like before, but as a consultant. Help us build engines the right way. Jack thinks about it. Only if I can work from Westridge. Only if I can still make pancakes with Lily every morning. Deal. He smiles. Small. Real. 6 months pass. Catherine implements the changes. Remote work options, family leave, mental health support, profit sharing. The board fights her. She fights back harder. Some executives quit. She hires people who understand that companies are made of humans, not machines. Revenue dips for 2 quarters, then climbs. Employees stay longer, work better, care more. Apex becomes known for something new. Not just innovation, humanity. Jack works from his garage 3 days a week, consults on new designs, teaches young engineers, always home by 6. Lily gets accepted to MIT, early admission, full scholarship, engineering program. She writes her essay about her father, about loss and rebuilding, about engines and hearts. The essay goes viral, thousands of shares. Young people inspired by a girl who watched her father choose healing over hiding. Catherine reads it on her phone, sitting in the park across from her office. The park she watches from her window. The park she finally walks through. She calls Jack. Your daughter is going to change the world. She already changed mine. Mine too. 1 year after the demonstration, Catherine and Jack stand at a ceremony. The PW 2000, officially named Rebecca's Legacy. A plaque unveiled in the main hangar. In loving memory of Rebecca Morrison, engineer, visionary, hero. Lily stands between them, holds both their hands. Jack touches the plaque. His fingers trace Rebecca's name. She'd be proud of this, he says quietly. She'd be proud of you, Catherine tells him. Of what you built. Not just the engines, the life, the daughter, the choice to keep going. Jack looks at her. I couldn't have done it alone. Neither could I. They stand there, 3 people connected by loss, by engines, by the choice to heal instead of hide. Lily looks up at them. Not every flight needs to go fast, right? Sometimes you just need to find the right path home. Catherine smiles, puts her arm around the girl. Sometimes the best engines aren't the ones that fly highest, she says. They're the ones that keep running steady, that bring people home safe, that remember what they're built for. Jack nods, looks at the engine, at the plaque, at his daughter, at Catherine. Some engines run best at steady speed, he says, with people you trust beside you, heading somewhere that matters. Heading somewhere that matters. The hangar lights reflect off the metal. The engine sits quiet, ready, strong. Not the fastest, not the flashiest, but built right, built with care, built for the people who'll trust their lives to it. Outside, a jet takes off, engines roaring, climbing into clear sky. Inside, 3 people stand together, not perfect, not without scars, but healing, building, moving forward. Together,